welcome everyone to another episode of
the Blind Judgment Podcast.
Yeah. We're back at it again, season 2. This is going to be my episode.
I know. I'm so excited. You have been working away at this.
Yeah, that's because I put it off to the last minute. Surprise, surprise. This is how I did school.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure it's going to be good.
I was a little nervous. I was polishing for all day today. Any 5 minutes I could find, I was like, I need to polish it. She's going to ask me a question, and if I don't know the answer, she's going to leave me. That's what I was
last
thinking.
Night, too, you were kind of a grouch.
I know, because I felt like the deadline was approaching, and I was just under stress. You're a very stressful producer to work for, I got to say.
I live for stress. I am stressed.
That's right. Well, welcome, everyone. If you are new to the podcast, we're a true crime show. Just like the million others out there, but
it's hosted by us.
Yeah, because we're cool, and we know that this is why you're here. Welcome to Blind Judgment. We're happy to be here. I did want to give a shout out to our Reddit peeps out there.
Heck yeah.
Our last post saw the most engagement that we've seen to date. So really appreciate you guys dropping in, letting us know that you're in there and looking at the pictures. And with that, I'll also say, because I know Reddit can be a little intimidating for some people, you don't need a Reddit account or anything like that. So we put the link in the show notes so you can look at the pictures. So you literally just click on that link, whether you're on a laptop, a desktop, or your phone. Those pictures are going to show for you. You don't need to sign up for an account. If it asks you for an account, you don't have to get one. So just letting everybody know. I know some people hear Reddit and they're just like, what is that? Because it is kind of a weird place to be.
It sure is. It has a bit of a stigma.
Yeah. So, and on that reminder, just know that if you go to show notes, we'll always have a link to the pictures after every episode. So definitely check them out if you are interested.
Perfect.
All right. Well, I guess before we get into the show, we can banter a little bit. And
banter and have our snacks. We're snack lords, and we have a whole bunch of snacks in front of us right now.
This is by far the best spread that we've had for an episode. You want to kind of walk us through what we got here?
I would love to. So we have some guac, all right, with some chippies.
Homemade guac.
Yes, I make top tier guac.
It could be a little bit saltier.
But the chips are already salty. So how much salt do you want? What is your sodium intake like?
We don't need to talk about that, but I'm just saying it's not the best.
Tight. So then we also have French fries, and then we have like a little concoction of ketchup and mayo and a tzatziki sauce as well. And then we have these little things here. They're called Scandinavian swimmers. They're from Trader Joe's. I think they're supposed to be like Swedish fish, but better. Jonathan is really hyped on them. I think they're all right. I like the blue one because it tastes like soap.
You know they're good because I ate one and immediately my teeth started hurting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they're good. What else? What are you drinking over there?
Oh, excuse me. I have a Coke Heavy. So I typically drink Coke Zero, but I needed a little bit more caffeine, a little bit more sugar, a little bit more energy.
Why? Why'd you need energy? Why were you so low energy today?
Well, we went mini golfing, didn't we?
Why are you so bad at that, bro? Yeah, like the best day ever. You can't even think about it.
I am so bad. He asks me how my day was nearly every day, and I'm like, I have no idea what happened today.
Well, but we went and played mini golf.
We went and played mini golf. I beat him again, as I usually do in mini golf.
You beat me by one stroke, but
you got 2 holes in one. I didn't get any.
I got 2 holes in one.
I consistently played well.
She consistently played well. It's insane that I got 2 holes in one and I still lost. But the first time we played, she absolutely annihilated me. And she got like 70 holes in one. And it wasn't even a competition. This time, though, I was a little bit more locked in. The course was a little bit more challenging, would you say?
Way more challenging, for sure.
Way better course this second time around. It was called Duke's, right?
No, it's called Dick's.
No, it was called Duke's.
I'm like 90% sure it was called Dick's.
Well, All right. Either way, the course was way
Oh
better.
shit, it was called Dukes.
Yeah. So we went and played mini golf. She beat me by one stroke. Your boy had 2 holes in 1, which is better than winning. So, anyways, that's all I got to say about that.
It was great.
Well, what else you got going on? You watching any shows?
Well, I didn't watch any shows. I've been on kind of like a movie kick right now.
Okay, what you watching?
Well, I watched so I've only ever seen the first Twilight movie. I've only ever seen it one time
Like when it came out?
when it came out. And I've only ever seen the first one. I was just like not into it. It just wasn't my vibe.
Okay, the hype didn't.
No, it's just never been a thing
Okay.
for me. And unfortunately, I'm sad to report, still not a thing for me.
Mm.
I watched the second one, which focuses more on on Taylor Lautner's character, the werewolf kid. Didn't like it.
You're not a
Was
werewolf
not,
kid? Werewolf kid fan?
no, because like, okay, were you Team Edward or were you Team Jacob?
Robert Pattinson team.
Team Arpat? Okay.
Yeah.
If I were to be on a team, I probably would have picked the werewolf kid. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like for me, when I think of what like in a fantasy novel, what a vampire boyfriend should look like, I think he should look like Glenn Danzig or the singer from Typo Negative. I feel like our Pats is just a little too
He's pretty-
wafy to be
Yeah.
a vampire. I feel
He's got the
whenever
pale
I think
skin,
of
though.
it. He's got the pale skin that they probably doctored up with some makeup or something.
Well, it's not
and the
real?
sparkles. He's got the sparkles.
Yeah. So not a fan of the Twilight. I guess no
No.
Twilight 3 in your future.
No, it's just not for me.
It's good background movie. Like you're cleaning the house or you're washing the dishes, like throw it on and I
The
don't know.
soundtrack was phenomenal. The music
Yeah.
was great, but just was not
I understand. Anything
not
else?
for me. Well, last night we watched the movie. It came out recently called Cuckoo with Hunter Schafer, and you fell asleep.
Yeah,
even
it
though
was
you pretended like you weren't.
Shut up. That's what I do. Yeah, it was made by that production house Neon, which is like the new A24.
They're really good.
They are really good. They made Long Legs with Nicolas Cage, which was a pretty dope movie, I thought.
We liked it, yeah.
No, this movie Cuckoo started out good, but it went past my bedtime, so your boy had to crash out, so I didn't watch it. But I do want to finish it.
It was pretty good. Was it fantastic? Was it like groundbreaking? No, but I think for a modern horror film, I thought it was decent.
First of all, I legit thought I was awake.
Yes, I know.
I legit okay, this was an instance of my brain being fully awake, but my body being asleep, because I swear I was sitting there like 20 minutes in watching the movie, cognizant of everything that was going on. And then you woke me up because you said I was snoring. I'm like, I'm not snoring, bro. I'm watching the movie. What are you talking about? But apparently I was asleep.
He was asleep. And when I tell you, I woke him up and he was saying like, no, I was awake. He immediately shot up and sat up and was like, no, I'm awake. I've been awake.
No,
And I was
I'm
"Bro,
telling
you've
you,
been
I know
snoring."
sometimes I usually try to convince you that I was awake. This time I literally thought I was awake because again, like I can tell you what happened for a good chunk of that movie.
Sure.
But I'm just getting old, man. I can't watch the movie with the lights off is what I'm saying.
You're an old man.
All right. Well,
What about you? Did you watch anything noteworthy this week?
I
what have
mean-
you been up to?
I got into White Lotus. You got me into White Lotus. And so I've been watching that alongside a billion other people. This is my first season of White Lotus.
Yeah, what do y'all think about this third season of Wilo?
I don't know. My boy Brandon wasn't about it, but then the last episode, which I still think was not that great, he was about it. So I think it's just really high production. And as a film nerd, like I like it for that reason. And it's good acting and storytelling, kind of. I don't know. Like, I don't even know why I'm watching it. I guess just to watch it with you. But
Hell yeah.
like nothing is really happening. Like we spent 6 hours, 6
Yeah.
episodes.
I know it's very, I feel personally that this one is pretty lackluster. I'm not about it. I'm not a fan of the new season. I'm watching it just to watch it.
And apparently there's 2 more episodes left. And I'm like,
Yeah, the penultimate episode comes out tonight. So
yeah. So I don't know. Like, obviously I'm too invested now to give up on it, but definitely has been a little bit of a letdown. But I don't usually watch shows. So this is definitely, abnormal for me, but I've liked it. Like I said, I've liked what I've seen so far. And I do want to watch, you said season 2 was great. So I definitely want to watch that one.
that one's my favorite. Sorry, y'all. I just ate some fries.
Yeah. I'll edit that out later. But no, I do want to kick things off because I do want to make sure I can, 1, feed Mia when 7 o'clock rolls around, and then 2, that we make dinner and are ready to watch White Lotus when it kicks on at 8. But I do have one more question for you that's kind of related to today's episode.
Yes.
And I'm curious, like growing up, what did you and your family do for 4th of July? Like, was it a thing or was it kind of like, oh, you're nodding your head? Yeah.
It was definitely a thing. My family, my parents own, my family owns a little house on the lake of the Ozarks. And pretty much every year for 4th of July, we would go down, and we would we'd go to like the fireworks stand. We'd buy like a crap load of fireworks.
Yeah.
And we would light off the fireworks on our dock.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
So it was just awesome. And like my mom's, one of her favorite holidays was 4th of July. So like this girl, she loved fireworks and she would go all out.
Was she the reason y'all bought so many fireworks?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she would light them off herself, sometimes holding them because she is
None of the kids got a chance to
a
light up.
pyromaniac. Yeah.
I get that.
It was
That's
fun,
awesome.
and we'd do like a whole barbecue. So
it was a very special
Oh,
holiday.
absolutely.
In your family.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Super, super big deal. We love 4th of July.
Yeah. I feel like 4th of July in our family wasn't too big of a deal. And if the administration is maybe listening to this, I'm just kidding. It was a great deal. We love America.
That's
Don't
right.
come after me. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, we would, I don't know, like maybe go to the river or something, but like it wasn't like a consistent thing. I don't even think, like, we only ever got fireworks for New Year's. Like, I feel like 4th of July was me and my friends. Like, maybe we would go get fireworks and just like shoot them at each other.
Really? What kind of fireworks? Roman candles?
Roman
bottle
candles. We would
rockets?
just play like Roman candles tag.
That's like a rite of passage. I feel like everyone, like I would do that with my brothers, my cousins.
I feel like it's not as dangerous as it sounds, but
We feel like it isn't.
until you get hit. Because I was
Yeah.
dodging things like Neo in the Matrix, bro. Actually, nobody ever shot him at me. Anyways, cool. Well, yeah, this story kind of revolves around the 4th of July. So,
Ooh, okay. I'm ready.
you ready to jump in?
I'm ready to dive on in.
All right, cool. So, I'm going to start by introducing the family at the center of today's tragic tale, which is the Haldersons family.
Haldersons?
The Haldersons. Does that ring a bell for you?
No, not at all.
So this is a family out of Wisconsin. We have Bart and Krista, which are the father and mother of this family. Bart was 50. The mother was actually older. She was 53 at the time that all of this that I'm about to be talking about happened. Bart actually was an accountant.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, Krista worked as a secretary for an automotive company. And then they had 2 boys. Mitchell, who was the oldest. Nothing really to say about Mitchell. Not a lot is known about Mitchell. He was a gamer. There is a tie-in to video games, which is actually how I found out about this story.
Within video games?
Yeah, so Mitchell and Chandler, so Chandler's the younger one, they played a video game, and they played one that they were known to play a lot was called Escape from Tarkov.
Oh, yeah.
You saw the burnt peanut guy that you saw
Yeah,
yesterday?
and you play that game. I know about
I don't
that
play
game.
I don't play it anymore, really. I had that, like, I went hard into that game when the pandemic came.
Oh, okay.
So when they were like, boys and girls, stay in your house, we're on lockdown, I was like, yes.
When like I was playing Animal Crossing.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I remember that. The world was addicted to Animal Crossing. I was like super addicted to Tarkov. And
Okay.
The game really has nothing to do with this case or anything like that. There are some linkages to it, and I'll get into them later. But so yeah, Mitchell and Chandler, the two brothers, they were known to play video games with each other. Mitchell, the older brother, he kind of had a life of his own. He was already living outside of the house. He had his wife. I think he had a kid. I'm not too sure, but he had like his own family. Chandler, a little bit younger. He's in college. He was still living with his parents. So in their house, it was Bart, Krista, the parents, and then Chandler.
Okay.
Chandler had a girlfriend whose name was Catherine, but they called her Cat. And she definitely plays a big role in this story. So we'll definitely learn or hear more about her later. The only thing I really want to touch on Chandler and Cat's relationship was that they're about 2 years in, and at some point Chandler did cheat on her.
Oh, scandal. Okay.
They worked it out, so they still stayed together after the fact. But because that happened, there was this thing in their relationship where Kat would, whenever she felt like it or whenever she would ask for Chandler's location, he had to give it up.
Got it. Okay.
And they did that by using Snapchat, because on Snapchat they have like Snapchat maps or whatever. But
wait, hold up. How old are Chandler and Kat?
So Chandler was born in 98.
Okay.
And we're in 21.
Okay, 2021.
So yeah, they're like in their young 20s, early 20s.
Okay, got it.
If my maths correctly.
They're in their early 20s. Got it.
So basically there's a feature on Snapchat that you can turn on. I don't think it's on by default, but basically I think if you turn on location sharing anytime you're on it, and I think you can pick who you share your location with. I'm not too sure, but basically if he sent her a message, that immediately let her know where he was.
Okay.
Like that's all that had to happen. Like he didn't have to like send location. It's like as soon as they messaged, she would know.
Okay, got it.
So I'm dropping that seed and we'll come back to that later on.
Okay. So she would know where he was.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. All right. So based on that cast of characters, who would you guess is the perpetrator or perpetrators?
Dang. Okay.
Of this story.
Well, I think, oh my gosh, it's so crazy to be like on the other side now because I truly, and I do know a lot of true crime cases, but I have no idea where this is going. I would say probably something goes down. Since you brought up the 4th of July, it's probably over the 4th of July holiday. And I think that the girlfriend, Kat, probably comes after Chandler. And she can kind of track down where he is, and she pulls up on him.
And you do the little gun thing with your hand.
I did.
So you think she was shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe she's still a little sore from what happened earlier in the relationship with him cheating on her.
I think so. I mean,
that's a good guess. Cool. So you're pegging it right now on Kat.
I'm pegging it on Kat.
Okay.
So
fair enough. That makes sense.
That's where I'm at right now.
All right, cool. So let's get right into it now. All right. So the short, like I said, the story is basically all going to come to a head July of 2021. But in order for those events to make sense, I'm going to build up to it.
Okay.
So we're actually going to start January of 21. And this is when things are really popping off for our main character, Chandler, the youngest of the boys. Okay. So for one, he was in his last semester at college. He was attending Madison Area Technical College, where he had already received a solar technology certification.
Okay.
Which also meant since he was in his final semester, he's only a couple of months away from graduating. During this time as well, he secured an internship at a company called American Family Insurance. And not only that, it was a paid internship.
Oh, awesome. Holler. That's awesome.
I know. Did you have an internship in college?
I did afterwards, yes.
You did afterwards? Did they pay you?
Very minimally, but yes.
Like an ongoing payment? Because I got at one of my internships, they gave me a $50 gift card to Best Buy at the end.
No, it was not like that. They paid me like a
So you
like
had like
minimum wage.
you had a legit pay. Hey, that's
Yeah.
better than a free unpaid internship, which
Very true.
100% of them are. I remember getting my $50 gift card, and I was like, to Best Buy, which you know is like my happy place.
You love Best Buy. It's your favorite place to talk about.
Yeah. Please sponsor us. No, I remember just getting that $50 gift card, and it was special. Like, they didn't have to do that, but I can imagine like getting this paid internship, being Chandler, just being awesome, like feeling like a baller. And apparently it was like a really high paying internship. Like, it wasn't a minimum wage type of thing. And we'll actually get into.
So he's making dollars.
He's making bank. Yeah. Like, he's making good amount of money, especially for an internship. So yeah. So that's not it. That's not all that Chandler had going on around this time. He was also volunteering with the rescue team at the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources as a freaking scuba diver.
As a scuba diver?
As a freaking scuba diver, which really gave him a pretty well-rounded resume coming out of college.
All right.
About to come out of college. And then he ultimately landed an offer from his dream job at SpaceX down in Florida.
What?
Yeah. And pretty much as soon as he heard about that, he got a place for himself and his girlfriend to live in Florida, or where they would eventually be moving to in Florida later on in the summer, whenever that job actually.
Okay. They're going to be moving down to Florida.
So yeah, this is all happening early 2021. You got a little shifty eyes over there. What's going on?
Nothing.
Okay. Not a bad way to kick off 2021 for our boy Chandler. Since I mentioned his dream job at SpaceX, I'm curious what your dream job was. Or do you have a dream job?
What my dream job was, or like...
Is? I don't know.
Is? Oh gosh, I feel like that's really hard to say because it is not in my field and probably nothing I would ever pursue. But I would love to have my own restaurant. You know, I love to cook and I am a good chef. I would love to be like head chef of like my own little, maybe like not a restaurant, but like a little kitchen or like a food truck. Cause you know, I love cooking. I love to cook.
Wow. We're all learning about this at the same time, y'all. I didn't know that.
Yes, but I don't think it'd be anything like I'd ever pursue. But I've always felt like, I would love to just
That's how I feel about
food.
Yeah, that's how I feel about like my art. Like,
yeah,
I just don't know how I would pursue it and pay the bills at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like it would be too much stress.
Yeah, restaurants are hard, but But I mean, people love a good place to eat, and you do cook exceptionally well. And I'm not just saying that. But yeah, no, that's very cool. I didn't know that. So cool. All right. So that was early 21. We're going to move a little bit forward in time to the spring, where actually Chandler begins to encounter some setbacks.
Oh, okay.
And these aren't just ordinary setbacks. They're setbacks that actually put his bright future into jeopardy. So one, at his internship, and I mentioned we'll get into his pay. We're getting into that now. So I mentioned it was a paid internship, but he was actually having a couple issues getting paid. One of the issues he was having was he just wasn't getting paid what he was promised. So like his pay rate account, like HR or whatever, didn't document the proper pay. And so he was receiving less than what he was promised. And then ultimately, he just stopped getting checks altogether. They did eventually figure this out, but American Family Insurance basically had to deposit like a large sum of money as back pay to him. And that also got initially stopped by the bank because they thought it was fraudulent at first, but ultimately they kind of square it off. But still, it's just like one thing after the other. And then at school, Chandler was also having issues with his college, providing him with his transcript and his certification, which he needed, one, for financial aid purposes, but more importantly, he needed it to move forward with his job at SpaceX.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So obviously Chandler's going back and forth with his counselor trying to resolve the issues, but ultimately that wasn't really going anywhere. So not knowing what else to do, he enlisted the help of his dad, Bart, to help get these issues resolved, which prompted his dad to begin reaching out to the schools, which he did primarily through email. And I actually saw a lot of these emails. It was very cute seeing the dad kind of
coaching him on what he needs to say, how he needs to
No.
interact.
It's Bart like emailing the school like, where the hell, like
okay.
you've been
His
like,
dad is advocating for him.
yes, like
Okay.
you've been giving my son the reach around. Oh wait, not the reach around.
Ugh. I don't think we can say that on this podcast.
You just been leading my son
He's
down
just
the
giving him the reach around.
What's the phrase I'm looking for?
I don't know. I almost said circle jerk, but that is also
that is going to be what we call this episode. Episode 2, season 2, circle jerk. No, no, it was just
the runaround.
The runaround. That's what I was thinking.
The reach around.
So these issues with the school actually persisted throughout the summer. So now we're in June, okay? And Chandler's dad starts actually calling the school and asking to speak with the people that he'd been emailing for the past several months. About the transcript and certification, all that stuff. And this is when he learned that the people he was asking for didn't work there. Now, finding that a bit strange, Bart then asked about Chandler's certification, which they then replied, there's no record of Chandler completing that program.
Holy smokes. What?
A little bit more strangeness there, right? Then Bart asks about the transcripts and learns that Chandler was not currently enrolled at Madison Area Technical College. He had been, but during that semester, no records of him actually being a student at that time. So he did take a couple of courses at the college, but at that time when his dad was calling, nothing.
Wait, then how did he get the internship? Was it through a school?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
So in shock with the idea that his son may have been lying.
Wait, and then how did he get the job at SpaceX?
I said we're going to get to that.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah. Hold your horses. So at this point, the dad kind of doesn't know what's going on, but he's obviously suspecting that his son's been lying this whole time. But he still is giving his son the benefit of the doubt because he's seeing these emails. Like, he's talking in the school. Like, who's like, who the hell I've been talking to about this stuff, right? And so what Bart ends up doing is he schedules an in-person meeting with the school so that him and Bart can him and Chandler can actually go up to the school and just talk to the counselors and once and for all, just get to the bottom of whatever's going on. Either Chandler's not enrolled and he's been lying, or here are his transcripts and certifications, right? So they scheduled that, okay? So this appointment was essentially set for like a week or two into the future. It was essentially after the 4th of July holiday. And Bart, once he scheduled this, basically sent a text to his son, Chandler, letting him know, hey, I just got off the phone with your school. I scheduled an appointment. We're going. Okay? Like this is where we're at right now. A couple of days after that, I know this just sounds ridiculous, but it's all true. A couple of days after Chandler receives that message, he suffers a fall down the stairs that ultimately led him into getting a concussion and having to wear a neck brace.
Whoa. He fell down the stairs?
Yes, at his own home.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So literally, figuratively, a fall from where he started the year, right? All these things looking bright.
Literally and figuratively.
And then actually falling down the stairs. So Chandler not doing great right now. Okay. And he's got a limp as well, some other issues, but it's kind of serious stuff. Okay.
Okay.
What are your thoughts so far? Like, what's going through? I know you mentioned about the SpaceX thing, and we will get to that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
So I do have like a vague recollection of a story. As soon as you mentioned SpaceX and then the internship, I think maybe when this happened, I had read like an article about it, but I don't really know any of the details.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm aware of it, but I don't really know anything about it.
Yeah.
I do know. I mean, I think I know. I have a pretty good idea, but I don't know. Should I?
Of what ends up happening?
Of what ends up happening. But
Well, I say hold
that's why I'm like, I
that
don't think
thought.
I should
Yeah, because you may spoil
express
it.
it, but I do think I know what this case
Okay.
is now.
My worst nightmare
Yes.
has officially come true, y'all.
But
Thanks.
I don't remember all of the details.
No, I know.
But I think I know which one it is.
And the details are the best part.
Okay. Well, I don't know any of them.
Yeah.
The only thing I know is, do you want me to cut this out or?
Yeah, sure.
And I'll just tell you. Okay, so if this is the story that I think it is, I think it's I can't remember if it's the older brother is the one who does it or if the younger brother kills the parents and then the older brother goes to check in on them. And then when the brother goes to check in on them, one of them also is killed. I think is okay. So then I'm thinking of a completely different case. Okay.
Yeah, not the case.
Okay.
Curious to see if like
case
I was
like
gonna
that.
say, I'm curious if that actually happened in Wisconsin. Or it has some tie to SpaceX, I guess.
I don't remember, but I do remember there being a case that was related to SpaceX. But again, literally July of 2021 was like the worst month
of your life
of ever for me. So
that was like my only hope. I told her, I was like, I just hope that whatever you had going on around this time frame was heavy and that you missed this case. And
it was real bad. So
well, lucky for me.
Dark times.
Yeah.
Very, very dark times.
Well, I guess we'll save that for another episode.
No, we will not.
All right, cool. So awesome. So maybe you don't know about this case. So, all right, well, let's get into it. So, yeah. So at this point, he just fell off the stairs. His dad set up the appointment to go to the school and get to the bottom of what's going on with his certification and his transcript.
Okay.
So now we're finally at the beginning of July 2021. And Bart and Krista, they've kind of had enough of Chandler, and they're like, bro, we're out of here. We're going to our cabin. I guess they had a cabin a couple hours away in Wisconsin. They're like, we're going over to the cabin, 4th of July.
Just like my family.
Yeah. And they're just like, deuces, we're going with some friends. You're staying at the house. Like, we need a break from all this. Chandler didn't know or recognize like the friends that they said that they were going with. But it definitely wasn't strange for them to kind of just go off and have these weekend getaways without Chandler. Like that was pretty normal for them. So he was kind of like, whatever, you know. And it's 4th of July weekend, right? Like obviously go do your thing. What was strange, however, was that once they were there, Chandler didn't hear back from his parents.
Okay.
Now Monday and Tuesday roll around. So they left on a Friday, which was the 2nd of July. So 4th of July was on a Sunday. So Monday and Tuesday, he was expecting them Monday, Tuesday. I'm sure maybe Monday was probably still a holiday, but for sure be back because they still had jobs. Like they have to go to work. Monday and Tuesday roll around, nothing.
Not there.
Still didn't come back. So on July 7th, Chandler notifies the police that his parents were missing, which obviously kicks off a missing persons investigation. And it was during the interrogation of Chandler Halderson that we learned basically everything that I shared so far. And I know I haven't mentioned Kat in a while, but Chandler's girlfriend was interrogated as part of the investigation, and she gave the police details about the conversation between her and Chandler after his parents left for their trip. And again, not only did they have those conversations, but they also had Chandler's Snapchat location data.
Oh, okay.
Because that was, again, disclosed every time that they messaged each other on that platform. And that location data contradicted everything Chandler had disclosed to the police to that point. Okay.
Okay.
So now with Chandler square in their sights, the truth begins to spill. Okay. And we not only learn that Chandler was not enrolled in college, which we kind of figured already, right?
Yeah.
We also learned that he never landed a job at SpaceX. That's not it. He was never a volunteer for the Department of Natural Resources as a scuba diver. And the crazy thing about all of that I just said was all those emails back and forth from him to his counselor, from his counselor to him, from his dad to the counselor back to his dad, were
No.
Chandler.
No, that is so weird. That is so crazy.
And he did it with like Gmail accounts. They weren't even like .edu. Like they were just like Linda Scott at
Okay, that
Gmail.
is super weird that the dad did not clock that.
I mean, it's a dad, but it's maybe he saw it, but it's your own son. Like think about like is my son just make this up? Like you would, even if he had that thought, you wouldn't
immediately go to that.
You wouldn't immediately go to that, right? Like you give him you'd give him the benefit of the doubt. So he created, and this came up during the investigation, like there were, I don't want to say dozens, but like 6 to 8 characters, personas that Chandler made up.
How do you keep track of all of that? Like, does he have like a journal? Like,
I guess if you didn't have no job, like you didn't have anything to do, like
yeah, but how do you keep track of like every single person?
Yeah, I mean, something. I'm sure. I don't know. Actually, that's a good question. See, I knew you were gonna ask a question I couldn't answer. I am so bad at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, but isn't that wild?
That's so creepy.
It is creepy. It is weird.
That's like. Yeah, that's so creepy.
Yeah. But I guess, so the
like,
biggest...
was it like a multiple personality thing or?
No, it's just, what do they call those liars?
Pathological liars.
Liar. Yeah, he's just a pathological liar.
But that's so creepy.
Yeah. I think maybe, I don't know. I didn't see any of this, but like maybe he had a lot of pressure to like be in school, be smart, get good grades, land a big job. Like he also had pressure in his relationship to like be better, like not be a fuck up.
Don't cheat on your girlfriend.
Stop being a cheater. Yeah. So like maybe that just was overwhelming to the point where it's like the only way I know how to like succeed in life is
by creating 8 Gmail accounts and creating a cast of characters.
It's probably easier for him to just do that than like to actually walk the walk of like going to school and securing a job and like I don't know.
Well, what did his brother do? Like, is it maybe the pressure from his brother being very successful?
That could be it. His brother was like successful in that like he had a good job, he had a relationship, he had a family. So maybe there was a little bit of like comparing himself to his brother. I don't know. I didn't come across any of that, but like who knows what gets people to do these crazy things, right? But like I think he just spun one lie and it led to another.
It
snowballed, and before he knew it, he was just like
giving everybody the reach around.
Giving everyone the reach around. Yeah, but that wasn't the biggest lie, right? The biggest lie of them all was that his parents never went on a trip to their cabin on the weekend of the 4th of July. They never left. It was impossible for them to leave because on July 1st, when Chandler was home alone with his dad, he shot him in the back with a high-powered rifle.
Wow.
And while dealing with that, or maybe the cleanup or the aftermath of killing your father, he messages his mom to pick up some soda before coming home from work. And like the awesome mom that she was, she did. And when she got home, Chandler killed her too. Unfortunately, the exact method of her death is still unknown because her body was dismembered and not all of her remains have been discovered.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So he actually dismembered both of his parents. He tried burning some of the remains in the fireplace in the home, but he mainly scattered them like in random parts of southern Wisconsin, basically. The crazy thing about that was he, again, tried to burn some of these body parts in the fireplace, and a fireplace that, like, I don't know if you know, like, in order to burn a body, it has to reach
extremely
high temperatures.
It needs to be like a bonfire is where you burn it.
A fireplace in a home is not going to cut it. And so basically he let that fire burn like like basically
Wait, it's
all.
the middle of the summer.
It's the middle of the summer. He burnt
So what
that
about the
thing.
neighbors? Aren't they like, there's
They
smoke
did.
coming out of my neighbor's chimney?
They do. So the reason we know that he had a fire on was because we had like his neighbors surveillance cameras could see like the
Smoke
fire
coming out.
burning. Well, they can see like the flicker of the flame overnight. Like, so they saw the little, they could see, they
Wow.
just look like little pixels on the screen, but it was burning all through the night. And his neighbors did like question at one point. They're like, I went outside and it smelled weird. Like, but I just figured 4th of July, people are having a cookout. Like, so
Yeah.
it did stand out, but people again just kind of like threw it under the rug. Like, okay, no big deal. But the crazy thing about that too was Kat actually came over the next day after he burnt or tried to burn his parents' remains all night. He actually set up a little fort like in the living room, and he like slept next to the flames, presumably just to make sure like they didn't get like out of control and burn the house down. But like he slept next to his parents' burning remains.
Whoa.
And then I'll get to Kat coming over the next day, but he actually asked Kat, "Hey, when you come over, can you bring your Swiffer jet? Because I cut my toe on some glass and bled on the floor like throughout the house."
He's going to clean it up with a Swiffer jet?
Yeah, and he told her that he was playing fetch with his dog and like threw the ball and it hit. I guess like the fireplace had like some glass around it. And it broke that glass and it like shattered on the floor and he stepped on it and that's what cut his toe. That's what he told her.
Okay.
But the police suspect that like when he was trying to burn their body, like the pressure buildup, like
Yeah, I
just
was going to
blew.
say it probably exploded.
It just exploded, like
Yeah,
blew the
that's what I
glass
was
out, and he
thinking.
just cut himself like doing all that. And so, anyways, she came over the next morning with the Swiffer jet.
Yeah.
Thought it smelled super smoky in the house. And at this point, not all of the remains were burned. Obviously, like he had stowed some away, like in the freezer in the basement, basically.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Because he hadn't dumped them. Like she literally went over like the next morning. And so that was July 1st. He didn't report them missing till July 7th.
So a whole week.
So basically, a whole week went by where he is just trying to figure out how am I going to get away with this. And so yeah, she came over. Things smelled weird, but she didn't really look into it. They even went to like 4th of July events, like with her. I think they went to like her parents' house. Excuse me. They went to like her parents' house. They had like a swimming pool, and they actually, while they were hanging out at her parents' house, he made note that they had a swimming pool. And during this time, that after he killed them, but hadn't reported them missing yet, he went over to their house, like without his girlfriend, and just like surprised them out of the blue. And they're like, what is he doing here?
Yeah.
And they literally said that they just saw him like standing, like he just parked like in a weird spot on their land and was like, what is homeboy doing here? And then that he looked surprised when they approached him, like, hey, are you okay? And they kind of figured like, is this guy like on drugs? Like, what's going
What's
on
going on
here?
here? Yeah.
They knew who he was, obviously. There's like, everything okay?
Like, why are you here without...
And he was basically like, oh, I was curious if I could use your pool because of my physical therapy. My doctor said it'd be good to swim because he had like the fall from the stairs.
Yeah, okay.
And so they're like, okay,
Kooky.
sure.
That's
and
weird.
They were even like, I was planning on getting in there, but like I have some more work to do. You're more than free to like jump in there right now, but I'm going to be using it here in a little bit. Basically saying like, go ahead and use it right now, but whenever I need it here in a couple of minutes or an hour or two, like I want you out of here, right?
Yeah. Like you can use it for a little while.
So they go off and do whatever they're doing. They live on a big old plot of land in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Like it's like a ranch.
Mm-hmm.
And they come back to the pool and he's like not there. but his car's still there. And they're just like, okay. But they're like, whatever. I'm jumping into the pool. Like, he's off, I guess, wandering in the woods, whatever. I'm sweaty and hot from working on the ranch. I'm going to jump in my pool, right?
Swim in my pool, yeah.
Well, they're in there. They're in the pool, and then he shows up. And he's all like a little bit dirty and sweaty himself. And he's like, mind if I get in the pool? And the mom is like, she's topless. It's her own pool. She's like, she actually looks at her partner.
She has no top on?
She has no top on. And she looks at her partner. She's like, are you, I mean, she's obviously like inconvenienced by it, like bothered by it. Like, bro, like you just came over unannounced. We let you use our pool. Apparently you didn't use it when we let you. And now you're trying to use it while we're in it. Basically, she's topless. She asked her partner, like, I mean, it's okay with me if it's okay with you. And she's like, whatever, man. Like, we'll stay in this side of the pool. Chandler goes in the pool with them. So imagine you got Kat's parents on one side. Her mom's topless. They've been working on the ranch all day. Kat's boyfriend just stumbles in, acting weird as hell, jumps in the pool with them while she's topless. Like, and ultimately, I mean, I guess I'm kind of getting ahead, but he dumped part of the bodies on their property.
Yeah.
He ultimately ditched the gun that he used to shoot his parent. I guess, I mean, we only know they shot his dad. Yeah. He stashed it like they had a shed.
Okay.
Stashed it in there. And yeah, I mean, ultimately, I guess we can move on to the trial. He was charged with 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide.
Okay.
Mutilating a corpse, hiding a corpse, and providing false information on a missing person.
Wow. Okay.
The trial commenced in January of 22. They presented extensive evidence, digital footprints. We had witness testimony. So there was like surveillance camera of him like going to like a hobby shop. Like he got like tarps and like stuff to transport the dead bodies. They got him on camera doing that. They got the Snapchat location footage. They had like the surveillance footage from the houses around, so they could see like him leaving the house, and a lot of that just all of that contradicted the story that he ultimately gave the police, right? So like all of that basically made him look as guilty as he really was. Okay. They also had forensic findings, all that stuff, because I think he even left like whatever he cut the bodies up, he also ditched on that property, on Cassie's parents' property.
Wow.
They didn't even need to call any witnesses. So basically 2 hours of deliberation, the jury found Chandler guilty on all charges. So in March of 22, he was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole.
Wow. Okay.
And I know I mentioned this kind of has a tie-in to the video game.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how does this tie into the game?
So Escape from Tarkov is what you would call a shooty game.
I call them shooty games.
Which is what I play. Allie plays like, what do you play like Civ 6?
Yeah, I like
nerd games.
Yes, nerd games. I like long form, like strategy based games.
I'm already bored.
And I also like puzzle games as well. I'm not into the shooting, the hash and slash. I'd rather think like 10 turns ahead.
Yeah. So there's 2 kind of big connections with that game. So one, the gun that he used to murder his parents, was a gun that's featured pretty prominently in the game. And he actually got that from a friend that he played that game with. So
no way.
He had met a friend, I think he was like a state away or something. That friend was in the military, and they met playing that game. And so one, like either in 21 or maybe in 2020, that friend like came and visited him and surprised him with that gun, because they talked about it all the time when they played that game together. And he literally just like, he had a pretty big collection of guns, and he said like, I didn't use this one. And I figured since Chandler talks about it, it would be a cool gift, right?
Yeah.
And so his friend gave him that gun, and that's ultimately what he ended up using. And it's a high caliber like military weapon, which is insane. Like
that you would just gift that to somebody.
well, it's insane to just
have it
to use it. I mean, it's insane. Like it's just meant for war. Like it's meant to cause a lot of damage. To use it like to shoot your father in the back, like and to shoot your parents, like
yeah. So why do you need that?
I mean, it's probably all he had. It's all he had. He wasn't a gun collector. Like, he didn't even have. That was his only gun. Was just one that he got gifted to him.
True, but I guess I'm just thinking like in general.
Yeah.
Who actually needs something like that?
Well, they're just like toys. Like you want to collect them.
Cool. Then don't sell the bullets.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get into that. But
okay.
So that's one connection. The other connection comes to, and I guess I do need to give a little bit of backstory on the game here. This game kind of prides itself on giving the player absolutely no information on how to play it, on how to beat it at all. So basically, they are just going to dump you in the middle of a map and say, like, go find these documents in a building, in a hospital. And you could just be in the middle of a city and you have to, it doesn't tell you where the hospital is. And you.
Maybe that's most logic games. Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, like, they don't give you anything. Yeah. Like in most games, you have a map. You can't pull up a map. And so basically, they rely heavily on content creators. And so a lot of people make video guides on you and they put them on YouTube. And so if you're just starting out, playing this game, honestly, I don't know how you would play it without YouTube. Like that's every time I play that game, I have another monitor open that has a map of what I'm doing that is on a complete, somebody hosted that on their own. Like they mapped it themselves. I have YouTube videos that are just kind of walking me through what I need to do to complete a mission. So homeboy Chandler on July 8th, so this is the day after he reported his parents missing.
Yeah.
So at this point, he still wasn't like, he was being investigated or like he was being interrogated, I guess.
Yeah.
But he's still at home, right? He's still a free man.
He's still loose, yeah.
I have some of his search history here. This is July 8th, the day after he reported them missing.
Okay.
This is at 9:44 in the morning. He does 6 Google searches, okay? 5 of them in the span of 1 minute. The first Google search, body found in Wisconsin. Second search, woman's body found in Wisconsin. Third search, Wisconsin dismembered body found. Fourth search, dead body found in Wisconsin. And then body found in Milwaukee River 2021. And that essentially he was looking at a case that was very similar to his that had happened in Milwaukee the year prior.
Okay.
And so he was just trying to like see how did that pan out, right?
How did that? Yeah.
The very next search was, where did the messenger hide the item in Tarkov?
Okay.
So there was just a lot of like that whole week that he was trying to figure out what to do with his parents' dead bodies. He would go from like taking care of them, like figuring out where to hide them, chopping up the body, to playing video games. And then to go back to like figuring out what to do about it and then playing video games. And so, which is just like, this guy was insane.
Crazy.
This guy's literally playing video games in his house with his parents chopped up
bodies
in the cooler in the basement.
That's so wild.
Yeah.
My goodness.
It's crazy.
Wow. That is so wild. That's crazy. That is not the case that I thought it was.
It's weird.
Initially.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the case of Chandler Halderson.
Okay. Chandler Halderson.
I guess I'll give mad props. There's a YouTube documentary on this that I used a lot for inspiration. It's like 2 hours long. It's made by a content creator who makes guides for Escape from Tarkov.
Wow, I wonder if he watched any of that guy, those videos.
He did.
Content creator.
Oh,
no
for sure.
Way.
For sure. And
whoa, that is such an interesting take on it. Can you imagine?
Yeah. And he's actually the one who, he kind of coined this guy, the Tarkov murderer. I don't know if it's known that way, maybe just to the gamers. Like the connection to Tarkov, only this guy's talking about it, right? Because he makes content for that video game. But
yeah.
I mean, the fact that it shows up in the search history, like it's a pretty strong connection, and the gun that he used to kill him with. So like it was a cool angle to view this case in. Because I did listen to other podcasts and watch other videos of people talking about this case, and they didn't talk about the video game at all.
Huh.
So yeah, that was kind of cool. But I do have to give a shout out. Like, just search Tarkov murder on YouTube. Super interesting documentary about it. But yeah, that was kind of my inspiration for this case.
Dang. Wow. That was a good case.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad
Very
you liked it.
spooky. Super spooky.
Cool. Well, I think next time we'll get back to you sharing a case.
Yes, we will.
Awesome.
It's kind of great because we don't have to add this in there, but because you kept mentioning his name was Chandler, and I know this is kind of in poor taste to bring this up, but it's very dark.
What?
My aunt, when I was growing up, she had these 2 ducks, okay? And she named one Chandler and the other one Joey, because I think that's like a Friends reference from the show Friends. I don't know. I also didn't watch that. And like when they got bigger, she had to put them in like a pen in her basement. And one day she turned the lamp on too high and it lit the ducks on fire and they died.
We are for sure putting that in the episode. All right. Didn't see that coming.
And I was like, oh, man.
Well, that'll be the case that I cover next. The case of Chandler and Joey. The burning ducks. Yeah. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for listening. We love you guys. Again, remember to check out the link in the show notes if you're interested in the photos for this case. And until next time, later, y'all.
Bye-bye.